22. Visions of the Other World. So I dressed myself in a sacred manner, and before the dance began next morning, I went among the people who were standing around the withered tree. Good Thunder, who was a relative of my father, and later married my mother, put his arms around me, and took me to the sacred tree that had not bloomed, and there he offered up a prayer for me. He said, "Father, Great Spirit, behold this boy, your ways he shall see." Then he began to cry. I thought of my father and my brother and sister who had left us, and I could not keep the tears from running out of my eyes. I raised my face up to keep them back, but they came out just the same. I cried with my whole heart. And while I cried, I thought of my people in despair. I thought of my vision, and how it was promised me that my people should have a place in this earth where they could be happy every day. I thought of them on the wrong road now, but maybe they could be brought back into the hoop again, and to the good road. Under the tree that never bloomed, I stood and cried because it had withered away. With tears on my face, I asked the Great Spirit to give it life, and leaves, and singing birds, as in my vision. Then there came a strong shivering all over my body, and I knew that the power was in me. Good Thunder now took one of my arms, Kicking Bear the other, and we began to dance. The song we sang was like this: "Who do you think he is that comes? It is one who seeks his mother." It was what the dead would sing when entering the other world and looking for their relatives who had gone there before them. As I danced with Good Thunder and Kicking Bear holding my arms between them, I had the queer feeling that I knew, and I seemed to be lifted clear off the ground. That first night, I did not have a vision all that first day. That night, I thought about the other world, and that the Wanikia himself was with my people there, and maybe the holy tree of my vision was really blooming yonder right then, and that it was there my vision had already come true. From the center of the earth I had been shown all good and beautiful things in a great circle of peace. And maybe this land of my vision was where all my people were going, and there they would live and prosper, where no Wasachus were or could ever be. Before we started dancing next day, Kicking Bear offered a prayer saying, "Father, Great Spirit, behold these people. They shall go forth today to see their relatives, and yonder they shall be happy day after day, and their happiness will not end." Then we began dancing, and most of the people wailed and cried as they danced, holding hands in a circle, but some of them laughed with happiness. Now and then someone would fall down like dead, and others would go staggering around and panting before they would fall. While they were lying there like dead, they were having visions, and we kept on dancing and singing. And many were crying for the old way of living, and that the old religion might be with them again. After a while, I began to feel very queer. First, my legs seemed to be full of ants. I was dancing with my eyes closed, as the others did. Suddenly, it seemed that I was swinging off the ground, and not touching it any longer. The queer feeling came up from my legs, and was in my heart now. It seemed I would glide forward, like a swing, and then glide back again, in longer and longer swoops. There was no fear with this, just a growing happiness. I must have fallen down, but I felt as though I had fallen off a swing when it was going forward, and I was floating head first through the air. My arms were stretched out, and all I saw at first was a single eagle feather right in front of me. Then the feather was a spotted eagle dancing on ahead of me, with his wings fluttering, and he was making the shrill whistle that is his. My body did not move at all, but I looked ahead and floated fast toward where I looked. There was a ridge right in front of me, and I thought I was going to run into it, but I went right over it. On the other side of the ridge, I could see a beautiful land where many people were camping in a great circle. I could see that they were happy and had plenty. Everywhere, there were drying racks full of meat. The air was clear and beautiful, with a living light that was everywhere. All around the circle, feeding on the green grass, were fat and happy horses, and animals of all kinds were scattered all over the green hills, and singing hunters were returning with their meat. I floated over the teepees and began to come down feet first at the center of the hoop, where I could see a beautiful tree, all green and full of flowers. When I touched the ground, 2 men were coming toward me, and they wore holy shirts made and painted in a certain way. They came to me and said, "It is not yet time to see your father, who is happy. You have work to do. We will give you something that you shall carry back to your people, and with it they shall come to see their loved ones." I knew it was the way their holy shirts were made that they wanted me to take back. They told me to return at once, and then I was out in the air again, floating fast as before. When I came right over the dancing place, the people were still dancing, but it seemed they were not making any sound. I had hoped to see the withered tree in bloom, but it was dead. Then I fell back into my body, and as I did this, I heard voices all around and above me, and I was sitting on the ground. Many were crowding around, asking me what vision I had seen. I told them just what I had seen, and what I brought back was the memory of the holy shirts the 2 men wore. That evening, some of us got together at Big Road's teepee and decided to use the ghost shirts I had seen. So the next day, I made ghost shirts all day long and painted them in the sacred manner of my vision. As I made these shirts, I thought how in my vision everything was like old times and the tree was flowering. But when I came back, the tree was dead, and I thought that if this world would do as the vision teaches, the tree could bloom here too. I made the first shirt for Afraid of Hawk, and the second for the son of Big Road. In the evening, I made a sacred stick like that I had seen in my first vision, and painted it red with the sacred paint of the Wanikia. On the top of it, I tied 1 eagle feather, and this I carried in the dance after that, wearing the holy shirt as I had seen it. Because of my vision and the power they knew I had, I was asked to lead the dance next morning. We all stood in a straight line, facing the west, and I prayed, "Father, Great Spirit, behold me. The nation that I have is in despair. The new earth you promised, you have shown me. Let my nation also behold it." After the prayer, we stood with our right hands raised to the west, and we all began to weep. And right there, as they wept, some of them fainted before the dance began. As we were dancing, I had the same queer feeling I had before, as though my feet were off the earth and swinging. Kicking Bear and Good Thunder were holding my arms. After a while, it seemed they let go of me, and once more I floated head first, face down, with arms extended, and the spotted eagle was dancing there ahead of me again, and I could hear his shrill whistle and his scream. I saw the ridge again, and as I neared it there was a deep rumbling sound, and out of it there leaped a flame, but I glided right over it. There were 6 villages ahead of me in the beautiful land that was all clear and green in living light. Over these, in turn, I glided, coming down on the south side of the 6th village, and as I touched the ground, 12 men were coming towards me, and they said, "Our father, the 2-legged chief, you shall see." Then they led me to the center of the circle, where once more I saw the holy tree, all full of leaves and blooming. But that was not all I saw. Against the tree there was a man standing with arms held wide in front of him. I looked hard at him, and I could not tell what people he came from. He was not a Wasatchew, and he was not an Indian. His hair was long and hanging loose, and on the left side of his head he wore an eagle feather. His body was strong and good to see, and it was painted red. I tried to recognize him, but I could not make him out. He was a very fine-looking man. While I was staring hard at him, his body began to change and became very beautiful with all colors of light, and around him there was light. He spoke like singing. My life is such that all earthly beings and growing things belong to me. Your Father, the Great Spirit, has said this. You too must say this. Then he went out like a light in a wind. The 12 men who were there spoke. Behold them, your nation's life shall be such. I saw again how beautiful the day was, the sky all blue and full of yellow light above the greening earth. And I saw that all the people were beautiful and young. There were no old ones there, nor children either, just people of about one age, and beautiful. Then there were 12 women who stood in front of me and spoke. Behold them, their way of life you shall take back to earth. When they had spoken, I heard singing in the west, and I learned the song I heard. Then one of the 12 men took 2 sticks, one painted white and one painted red, and thrust them in the ground. He said, Take these, you shall depend upon them. Make haste. I started to walk, and it seemed as though a strong wind went under me and picked me up. I was in the air with outstretched arms and floating fast. There was a fearful dark river that I had to go over, and I was afraid. It rushed and roared and was full of angry foam. Then I looked down and saw many men and women who were trying to cross the dark and fearful river, but they could not. Weeping, they looked up to me and cried, Help us! But I could not stop gliding, for it was as though a great wind were under me. Then I saw my earthly people again at the dancing place, and fell back into my body, lying there. And I was sitting up, and people were crowding around me to ask what vision I had seen. I told my vision through songs, and the older men explained them to the others. I sang a song, the words of which were those the Wanikia spoke under the flowering tree, and the air of it was that which I heard in the west. After the 12 women had spoken, I sang it 4 times, and the 4th time all the people began to weep together, because the Wasatchews had taken the beautiful world away from us. I thought and thought about this vision. The 6 villages seemed to represent the 6 grandfathers that I had seen long ago in the flaming rainbow teepee, and I had gone to the 6th village, which was for the 6th grandfather, the spirit of the earth, because I was to stand for him in the world. I wondered if the Wanikia might be the red man of my great vision, who turned into a bison, and then into the 4-rayed herb, the daybreak star herb of understanding. I thought the 12 men and 12 women were for the moons of the year.